Hello everybody, my name is Sarah and these are my strings, and I'm going to show you how to make this beginner-friendly whale today. It is all one piece, it is no sew, so it's fairly easy to make. I will go slow during some of the parts for like the fins and the tail so that it's easy for you to figure out. But yeah, let's get creative. So to make this little whale, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need 2 skeins of yarn, any color blue you like, and a white. These are just regular worsted weight yarns. I use a 5mm hook. You're going to need a little bit of fiber fill, not too much, some scissors, some 10mm eyes, safety eyes, a stitch marker, and a darning needle. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to work into the magic ring. And alternately, if you don't like using the magic ring, you can crochet like chain 4 and do it that way. That's what I used to always do, and work in to the center of that chain 4. So that is fine too. But we're going to start off, you're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a total of 8 single crochet into this magic circle. Oops. 2, 6, oops, 7, and 8. Now we're going to pull this tight. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of this first chain right here. Okay, and for round 2, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do a single crochet and then an increase all the way around. So 1, and then increase. And you're going to do that all the way around. 1 increase, 1 increase, 1 increase, and you're going to end on an increase. Okay, so finishing off row 2 with an increase, we're going to then slip stitch into the top of the last stitch, or the first stitch in the last row. So, but first you might want to count and make sure you have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch into the top right there. And then for round 3, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet 5 and then an increase, single crochet 5 and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost got some fuzz. And then we're going to do an increase. Okay. And now you're going to do that again. 1, 2, fuzz. 3, 4, 5, increase into the last stitch. Now we're going to have 14, so if you want to count, you should count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So once again, you're just going to slip stitch into the top of the last, or the first single crochet of the last row. And honestly, I haven't mentioned this yet, but if it's easier for you, once you start this next row, if you want to go ahead and use the stitch marker to mark the first stitch of the last row, you can go ahead and do that. Since we're not working in the spiral, I really don't see the need, but you know, to each their own. Okay, so for the next row, we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet 6, and then increase. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then increase. Okay, now you're going to do that again, and I will meet you all the way back at the end. So you're going to single crochet 6 and then increase. Okay, so at the end of this row, you should have 16. So go ahead and count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so go ahead and slip stitch into the top of that stitch right there. Chain 1. And now for the next round, we're going to single crochet 3 and increase all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, increase. Oops. One, 2, and pull out more string. 3, increase. So go ahead and finish out the round, and I will meet you at the end. You should have 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So go ahead and slip stitch into the top of that last round right there. Okay. And at this point, you might turn it inside out and take this into the darning needle and sew it in there. So we're probably going to do that next. And you can also see it starting to take shape right there. And this is the last increase round. The next round we are going to be doing the fins and the tail. All right, so at this point we are going to sew in the inside thread. So I've threaded my needle, and you see, let's see, there it is. That's the first round right there. So we're gonna go into these loops right here into the magic circle, if I can get it in there. We are going to sew this closed. And I just go around, oops, almost all the way through. Let's see. There we go. It's all about right there. Sounds good to me. It's nice and closed. Get my scissors. Cut that off. Okay, so we're going to turn this back right side out. And now we're going to work on the tail, the first part of the tail. So we are going to chain 2. And actually, I'm sorry, one thing I forgot to mention, at the end of that last round, when you slip stitch in here, I'm going to undo that. So if you're with me still, undo that slip stitch. Now for this one, we're actually just going to work in this front loop only. So if you see right here, you have 2 loops. This is the front and this is the back. We're going to be working into this front loop only. So we're just going to slip stitch into that front loop only because I'm going to need to use that back loop later for the next round. So oops, just slip stitch into this front loop only. Okay, now we're going to chain 2. And we're going to do a double crochet into this front loop. So you yarn over, go through, pull through a loop, you got 3. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we have double crochet. Now we're going to do like a little peek on top of it. So we're gonna chain 2 right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the side of this double crochet right here. So you got this side stitches, right? 1, 2, right there. Side of that, and we're gonna slip stitch this. Slip stitch. Now we're gonna do 1 more double crochet into that same front loop. Okay, and now we're going to slip stitch down into the bottom of that front loop only. Right there. Okay, now into the next crochet, which is right here, this one, right there. We're gonna go into the whole thing, so both of them. Only on the fins and the tail will we be working into the front loops. So we're going to actually slip stitch into that right there, right? So that brings it down. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to single crochet 3. So go in there to that same stitch, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we're going to be working on the fin. So we're going to do in the front loop only again, right? So we're going to do a slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 3. Now working from the second chain from the hook, so 1, 2, we're going to do a single crochet. Now working into the next stitch right here, next chain, we're going to do a half double crochet. Go through all 3 loops. Now back into this front loop right here, we're going to do another half double crochet. And then slip stitch. Now same as on the other side of the fin, we're going to go into the full next stitch. We're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and then we are going to single crochet 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops. Looks like I got a little bit of extra string right here. When I get this, I will just get my scissors and I will just be really careful. I'm just going to trim it down. Okay. It's good enough. Chances are you won't really be able to tell. Okay, what were we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and now we're going to do a fin again. All right, so now, again, working into the front loop only, we're going to slip stitch, chain 3, and working from the second loop from the hook, oops, goodness gracious, do a single crochet. Then in the next stitch, we're going to do a half double. And I can see this being a little issue. I'll take care of that later. Now do another half double into the same front loop and slip stitch. Now working into the next stitch right here, we're going to go through the whole thing again, slip stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. Did I skip a stitch? Let's double check. And actually, guys, I was wrong. I did skip a stitch. So be really careful, and I'm going to do this on camera just so you can see how easy that was. Right? And I just went straight into this one, and I skipped the actual next stitch. So definitely be careful when you're doing that, because if it's not even, if it doesn't add up at the end, you know you did something wrong. So that's the first stitch right there. Slip stitch right there. Single crochet back into that one. I had messed up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now in the very last stitch right here, we're going to do our last fin. So remember, in the front loop only, go right there, and we're going to slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to do a double crochet through 2, through 2. And I apologize if I'm going too fast. Please let me know. This is my first tutorial, and I'm hoping that I'm not going too fast. But we're going to do the little peak again. So we're going to chain 2, and then remember, into the side of the top of this double crochet right there. Okay, it's in the side of it. We're going to do a slip stitch. Now we're going to do another double crochet right here into the last, into the front loop only. Now this is optional. This next part can be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to go kind of slow. So now that we're at the end right here, what I usually do is I flip it over, and this is just to get it nice and even. I will go into that first, this is the front, or this is the back loop of that. Remember, because we did the front loop right here, this is the back loop. And I will pull this down through here. And I just do that because I feel like it gives it a little bit more of a clean look right there on this side. So now we have a loop right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off this, give it a little bit of a string. So that's about how long I left it. And now we're going to grab our white yarn. All right, so turning it back over this way, there's our loop right there. And we're going to stick our hook through right here, right? And now we're going to slip stitch the white through here. What I do actually, let's see, watch. I just pull it through just like that. I'm going to pull this nice and tight. There we go. Okay, now this is our first loop right here that we're working in. So we're going to chain 1. And we're going to single crochet 1. And then go into, because remember we had 3 stitches right here. 1, 2, 3 between these. So make sure again we don't skip a stitch. So we're going to, that was 1. I'm going to go straight into that. And I always like to carry this over a little bit. You can bring the blue one over too. And I carry this over. So just holding that right there, holding that underneath. And so this will stitch these into the stitches. That way it makes it easier in the end, just a little bit more secure. So this is stitch number, single crochet number 2. Okay. And 3. We're going to single crochet 3. Okay. Now we're going to do an invisible decrease. And this is done by, you guys recognize the front loops again, right? So you grab one of these. This is the front loop right here. Stay in frame. But then we're going to go back behind here, right? And we have the back loop that we had left free. So we're going to go back here, and it might be a little bit difficult to find, but your hook should be able to find it. Oops. So if you have to pull it out a little bit, that's fine. Go through that, and we're going to go through, pull through both of those right there. Okay. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through, and it kind of makes it invisible. And we're going to do that again. We're going to do this all the way around. Single crochet 3. So this is 1, 2, 3, and another invisible decrease. And this will be easier to see right here. Go through the front loop, go through the second loop of the next one, the front loop of the next one, and you're going to pull through both of these. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 things right there. Going into the next one, which is right here, because this one's connected, okay? 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. So we're going to go in, get in there, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay. Now the next one is the back of here. So again, might be a little tricky, but I know you can do it. Oh, that one was easier to get, see? Pull that tighter. So what are we on? We're on 1. 1. Remember, right here. Into the next stitch was right here. 2, 3, and decrease. So we're going to grab this one and we're going to go behind the tail, and we got to find that one. I think that's it right there. Oops. There you go. Use your hook. I'm going to pull through those. There we go. Yarn over, pull through. Now we're going to slip stitch into the top of this one. And you see how this is kind of bulky? This is when you can, and you can see I let go of this about 3 or 4 stitches in, but you can grab this white string and give it a little pull, and it'll pull that tight. That too, pulls it nice and tight. So we're going to slip stitch into the top of this first one right here. There it is, right there. Get in there. There we go. Slip stitch. Okay. See? Doing good. All right, so this is round 7, in case I haven't been mentioning, which I'm pretty sure I haven't been. So we are going to single crochet 2 and then decrease. So I chained 1 up. I'm going to go right into the top of here. Single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and decrease. And these should be easier. So front loop of this one, front loop of that one, pull through both of those. Come on. Yarn over, pull through those. All right, next ones. 1, 2, and another decrease. Go through 1, go through 2, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, decrease. All right, go ahead and finish this round, and I will meet you right down here at the end. Okay, so we just ended this round with a decrease, and we are going to slip stitch into the top of the first crochet at the last, or of this round. And now I would give this a nice big pull so it doesn't come undone. And I like to turn mine out inside out for this part. And I grab these 2 and I tie these in a knot, a double knot. And then I just give it a little snip. Oops. Turn it back over. Okay, so we're going to put in the eyes now, and this last row of blue right here, this is not what we're going to do. We're going to go into the row before that. And this is the fin. This is another fin. Look at on both sides. We're going to go 1 stitch in front of the fins. So we're going to take our safety eye, and I'm thinking, and you can honestly put these wherever you want, but I'm thinking right about there. This is where I think I would put mine, right about there. Does that look right to you? I think it looks right. So I'm going to flip this inside out so I can get to these easily. Grab our backs, and they're going to go face down. And make sure those get on there real good. And I'm going to do an extra step. And I never had to do these with a different pair of eyes. But now that I have these ones, they're a little cheaper made, honestly. And this is an extra step that I will do, and it's probably smart, very, very carefully. We're going to melt this right here. Just melt the back of it a tiny bit. And then use that and smash that down. Just gives it that extra little lock, because I've heard that these cheaper ones can come apart. Like this back will come off easier. It is pretty small. I have different types of eyes, but these small ones can be kind of iffy. So just to take this extra precaution, and like I said, be extremely careful. There. Now for the fiber fill. Make sure that's nice and cooled off before you flip it over. You don't want to melt the yarn. Now, you don't have to fill it too much in this round. You can finish filling it in the next round. But I like to put just a little bit in right now. But if you find that it's hard to crochet around that, then don't put it in right now. It will still have enough room in the next round. All right? And this is actually the last round we're going to be doing. So get that hook back on there, cinch that last stitch nice and closed. We're going to chain one. This is our last decrease round. We're going to chain one, single crochet one, and then a decrease. And this is what we're going to do all the way around. And you will see the hole get smaller and smaller. One, and decrease. And one, decrease. And you know you've done it right if you're ending on a decrease. I like to do mine when I'm increasing or decreasing. I will end on them. So one, and a decrease. And we're at the end. And if you've noticed too, our end of our round has stayed at the end, the back of the whale. So it's kind of easy to tell too. If you've got the tail of the whale, you know you're done. So we're going to slip stitch. Let's see, where's our first crochet? Right there. That was a little difficult. That's our slip stitch from the last round. So right here is our first crochet. And we're going to go into there, slip stitch, and now we're just going to chain one. I like to pull that out. Leave off a little tail for sewing. And you can just pull this through. As long as you've done that chain one, pull that tight and we're good. So now there's still a little hole so we can finish stuffing. Now, if you stuff it too much, you'll start spreading apart the stitches and you'll be able to see the cotton through. But if you don't stuff it enough, then you'll just be able to tell. So whatever feels right to you. Honestly, I think this is good. And sometimes if it balls up, this is what I like to do. I like to take my darning needle and just kind of give the yarn in there a little poke. It's a good thing to do. And then you can kind of see if there's any more holes, gaps that need filling. Okay, I think that's about right. That feels good to me. Okay, so we're going to thread our needle. Just move some of that. And we're going to close up. So what I do is I go forward and backwards, or in and out in the front loops only. I feel like it just gives it a cleaner close. So actually it might be easier to go up. So we're going to go up into that one, and then we're going to go down. So down right there. And then you can go like this too. Up and down, just front loops only. up and down, up and down. And we're in the last right here. Might just go through that last one right there just one more time. And then give it a little pull. So satisfying. And then what I like to do is I will go through any stitch, really, it doesn't matter, about right there. And we're going to tie a knot, leave this loop, and we're going to go through. Just create this little knot right there. Pull it nice and tight. Cute. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to poke it through. Look, it's a little water spout. How cute is that? So I like to pull it a little tight because this will dissipate. So just pull a little tight. I'm going to give it a cut and then it disappears right inside. And look what we created. A little whale. It's so cute. And I have a keychain ring that I'm going to attach onto this, and I'll go ahead and do that after this. But I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Honestly, this is my first one, so I appreciate any feedback you guys have for me. If I went too fast, please let me know. YouTube has taught me a lot, and I loved the opportunity to be able to teach others some of my own patterns. I've been doing this since high school when a teacher let me come back into the room, me and a few friends, and she taught us how to crochet during break time if we wanted to. And I will never forget that because it's why I am where I am now. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. It helps me grow. I am brand new on YouTube. And like I said, go ahead and comment any constructive criticism you have for me, any suggestions. I would really appreciate it. I want to do good for you guys and we can grow together. Bye.